What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junkdrummer TV, where I give my initial reactions, my hot takes, and my analysis on the drummers of today and yesterday, and maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I'm a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20 plus years. Anytime I do multiple videos on the same drummer, I like to put a lot of time in between, and I think it's been long enough since I did my last video on the Rev, Jimmy Sullivan, of course, of Avenged Sevenfold. The comment section of that video was one of the best comment sections that I've ever had. You know, the comment section on YouTube isn't always a dumpster fire of cruelty. I was very moved by a lot of the people who posted in that comment section talking about how much he meant to them. And so many drummers in that comment section talked about that he was the driving force behind them wanting to become drummers. You know, as musicians, of course, you know, drummers, drum channel, we talk about being great musicians and great drummers around here, and of course that's the thing to strive for. But the real reason you strive for that, in my opinion, is to affect the crowd and to affect an audience and to affect fans in a positive way. That's the bottom line. All of the stuff we talk about, all the rhythms and polyrhythms and independence and chops, all of that is to equal making art that touches people on some level. And according to that last video, Jimmy Sullivan did that in spades, and I was really moved by it. And everybody, a lot of people in that comment section asked me to do this video specifically. Well, when you move me as a fan base, I am going to listen to you every time. I think this is the video of him recording the track that is on the track of Almost Easy. This isn't a classic react video because I did listen to the song, because this is just the drums and I wanted to have an awareness of the song, so I did do that before I started this video. And let's just get right into it, man. I'm fired up about this. So if you all enjoy this content, y'all could really help me out with feeding the algorithm by liking and commenting and sharing, and maybe giving me a double tap on the subscription and the notification bell. Maybe checking out my merch table, maybe checking out my Patreon. You know, no pressure if you want to. Let's watch Jimmy Sullivan, the Rev, and let's pay some respects to the good man. That's gotta be his tech or some engineer. Every engineer in a studio looks just like that guy.
That's funny, dude. I was gonna try to do one of those Conan things, you know, because he fucks with the camera so much, dude.
You can tell this is a way before HD video. I guess this song is like 10 years old. A lot of people in the comment section talked about how he was famous for being the one-take wonder. And for getting a one take, you know, doing that one take and one try, that's a hell of a thing, man. Is that thing recording? He always played those ahead sticks, didn't he? Whoa, he just very nonchalantly started that tune. This guy had no worries. That is one of the most innovative things that's in this. I love that. I talked about it in the last video. I love when cymbals are used as not cymbals, and that was where cymbals were basically used like a drum type thing. You know, just running those double bass 16th notes behind that with the. I guess he probably has 2 ride cymbals. Man, this guy has never even heard of the red light syndrome. This is the verse. I think one of the reasons that people loved him so much was he was like this great throwback of just like classic metal playing. He wasn't like a crazy over the top. I mean, he was. But he wasn't like a Mike Portnoy guy, even though Mike Portnoy replaced him for a little while. Bow. Yeah, that was the chorus we just heard right there. Yeah, I know that I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but man, he was like, if Lars Ulrich would have kept getting better, or would have, like, not done what he did, this is what he would have sounded like. You know, that's classic foot, hand, metal licks there. Don't have my bass. I don't have my bass drum pad set up. One of the things that always struck me about him is he played drums like a songwriter, because he was a songwriter. There's nothing superfluous in his parts, and you know, you can hear the composition of the rest of the band in his drumming. It's musical. What do we say around here? Make drums musical again. He was one of the most musical metal drummers ever, because he was a songwriter. He wrote a lot of their songs. Not a lot. I'm not sure how many, but I know he wrote songs. And a lot of people don't think the drummers can write songs. They forget that we can be creative too when it's not just on the drums. I am a songwriter as well. While I've got this stopped, please go check out that first Rev video that I did. I'll put a link in this video to it. I do a PSA in the middle of it that kind of deals with, you know, the end of his life. And I'm very proud of it, and please go check that out. So here's the intro again. I love that. If I ever get a chance to rip that off, I'm going to. Yeah, this dude hasn't made a mistake. This is the guitar solo. Let's talk about that. Man, when you get into the studio, unless you are just, man, this guy is on cruise control. A lot of times, if you're new to that business of being in the recording studio, it can become psychological warfare, because you have such a heightened idea of what you're playing, because it's forever. It's being recorded, and you have to actually listen back to it. We sometimes can, you know, not be as careful as we want to be when we're playing live or for, you know, just rehearsing, but there's heightened stakes in the studio, and you want to get it all perfect. You want every right angle to be 90 degrees. You want everything in its right place, as perfect as you possibly can. And apparently, again, on the comment section, a lot of people talked about he was known for one take, what I call it one take wonders. I've done it, man. I've recorded 15, 16 records, and I've probably done it 4 or 5 times where, like, the first try was the one. You know, I think that's a hard thing to do. And the way he started the song, he was just messing around, like, twirling his drumsticks, and then the song happened. He was in the right headspace. You gotta be loose. I've been in the studio before with cats who get tight, and it never goes well. It's pressurized enough, this business of recording records. So this is the halftime bridge. His playing is just this grab bag of all the hits of what you think of classic metal drumming is. I think that's one of the reasons that people liked him and loved him so much, was it sounded familiar and it sounded comfortable, but it was also new, because he put his own new stuff in there, like that like on the ride bells. He knew his canon. He knew metal drumming backwards and forwards, and he used that knowledge to such great effect as a writer. Yeah, like, if you go watch or listen to the track, all that double bass stuff is doubling guitar and bass sections, musical. Everything in its right place. Nothing that doesn't need to be there. Boiled it down to what needed to be there. I love that. I will rip that off one day. Yeah, he's just, that was the drummer version of the bat flip. He just laid down the track perfectly and just flipped those headphones off. It's so great that they got that stuff, that this exists, because brother Rev ain't with us anymore. And it's just so wonderful that they have so much of him, not just on recorded, but in video form like that. That is really inspiring. Again, if you've recorded, it can be so pressurized. The only way I can put it. It can be anxiety-filled, nerve-wracking business. And this guy just looked like he was taking his dog for a walk, and he was just nice and relaxed, and he just knew everything. He knew where everything was going to go, and he had the ability to put it there. So there you all go. The Rev, man, he is, for a generation of drummers, on the Mount Rushmore. I didn't realize how important he was until that video blew up, and I just read so many sweet, inspiring tributes to this guy. And I'm going to reiterate what I said at the beginning. We talk about drums around here. I'm a drum teacher. I'm hoping that I am a resource to help people improve what they love to do. And that stuff, makes me happy. But I hate that. I'm not going to say it. At the end of the day, the bottom line for what we're doing with all of the practicing and the gigging and the recording, all of that should not equal some sort of feeding of your ego. It should equal touching an audience and making them feel something. That's what art is. It's one of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of drum Olympians on Facebook and YouTube, is because I think just a lot of that just like soloing for the sake of just showing off and showing your chops. For me, and I know a lot of people out there like it, it just doesn't resonate with me. Because I don't feel that they're trying to make me feel something. I feel like they're fucking showing off and trying to get laid, is what it feels like. He was a first-rate musical drummer. Everything that he did was perfect. And he played drums like a songwriter. And if you really want to stay gigging, and if you want to make the tracks that touch people, approach drums like a songwriter and not as a drummer or an organizer of noise, which is what I think of drummers, where we organize noise. Organize that noise in a musical manner, and you will possibly touch someone out there and make them feel a little bit better. And in today's day and age, man, we need that shit in droves. We need any outlet that just makes us feel a little bit better. That's what art does, and that's what Jimmy Sullivan, the Rev, did beautifully. Thank you, Rev, and keep practicing until it's easy.